Pull a tea bag out of your cabinet right now. Feel the material between your fingers. If it's smooth and silky, that's plastic. The premium upgrade you paid extra for is the one dissolving into your drink. And the tea inside it might not be tea in any sense the grower would recognize. Subscribe. Let's open the bag. Before the brands, you need to understand the grading system, because the grading system is how the betrayal works at scale, and it's been published and legal the entire time. When tea leaves arrive at a processing factory, they're rolled, oxidized, dried, and passed through a series of sieves. The top sieve catches whole leaves. The industry calls this grade orange pekoe, the full intact leaf that tea connoisseurs pay premium prices for. The second sieve catches broken leaf, smaller but still respectable. Third catches what the trade calls fannings, fragments about the size of coarse sand, most of what fills a standard supermarket tea bag. And what falls through all three sieves onto the factory floor is called dust. The literal floor sweepings of a tea factory. Fine powder. No structure, no recognizable leaf. This is not a conspiracy. Every tea company in the world uses this grading system. It's the published industry standard. What's hidden is which grade is in the box you just bought. Because the FDA doesn't require a tea grade on consumer packaging. A brand can print black tea or premium blend on a label, whether it contains hand-picked whole orange pekoe from a named Darjeeling estate or the dust that fell through every sieve onto the factory floor. Both are legally tea. Both can charge whatever the marketing budget decides they're worth. The person who has been buying tea their entire adult life and never knew they were drinking factory floor sweepings didn't fail to read the label. The label never told them. Our first fake tea started as a real tea a century ago. Sir Thomas Lipton built his tea empire in the 1890s on a genuinely radical idea that quality tea didn't have to cost a week's wages. He bought his own Ceylon estates, cut out the middle supply chain, and sold directly to consumers at prices that made everyday tea possible for the British working class. For a working man in 1895, Lipton was not a compromise. It was access. Nearly 100 years later, Unilever acquired Lipton in 1972, and has spent the 50-plus years since turning that access into scale. The kind of scale where quality becomes whatever the supply chain can reliably deliver at volume. Today's Lipton Yellow Box sources from industrial tea auctions where commodity dust and fannings go to the highest bidder, not the most discerning buyer. The CBC Marketplace investigation found multiple pesticide residues in Lipton samples. The pyramid bags that Lipton and its sister brands now sell, the ones that look like an upgrade from the flat paper bag, are nylon mesh, which means they fall squarely within the McGill findings. 11 billion microplastics per cup of what Lipton's label still calls freshly picked. Freshly picked from what? The floor of the sorting factory? Is the question the label won't answer? Thomas Lipton wanted to democratize quality tea. What Unilever democratized was the dust that fell through every quality filter, and then charged a premium for the plastic bag that delivers it. Bigelow tea has been family-owned since Ruth Campbell Bigelow invented constant comment in her New York kitchen in 1945. The company is still run by her granddaughter. It operates a tea plantation in Charleston, South Carolina, the only commercial tea garden in North America. On every box Bigelow sells in American grocery stores, the label reads, "Manufactured in the USA, 100% American family owned." In 2020, a class of California consumers filed suit in federal court that the tea in those boxes is grown and processed overseas, primarily in China, India, and Sri Lanka. Those countries are where virtually all commercial tea in the world comes from, including from brands that charge less than Bigelow. The Charleston plantation produces a small specialty line. None of the tea in the standard grocery shelf boxes comes from American soil. This matters because of the premium price tag. A damages expert calculated in the court case that consumers overpaid specifically because of the American origin claim. The manufactured in USA label influenced 11.3% of Bigelow's sales. People paid more for Bigelow than they would have for an equivalent foreign-sourced tea because the label told them they were buying something American. In 2024, a federal judge ruled that claim was literally false, not misleading. literally false. A jury followed in April 2025 with a $2.36 million verdict. The tea is standard fannings from International Estates, the same sourcing tier as most grocery store brands at the same price point. You weren't paying for better tea. You were paying for a label that a court has now ruled wasn't true. The family story is real. The Charleston garden is real. The premium you paid for American provenance went to a jury. Tazo built its entire identity around feeling different from every other tea on the grocery shelf. The names, Zen, Awake, Passion, Wild Sweet Orange, suggest something exotic and carefully sourced. The packaging is bold and dramatic. The pyramid bag signals that the tea inside has room to breathe, that whole leaves are expanding in a spacious mesh chamber rather than cramped into a flat paper square. Everything about the Tazo aesthetic communicates that someone thought carefully about what they were putting in your cup. The pyramid bag is nylon mesh, the same material the McGill study measured, releasing 11.6 billion microplastic particles into a single cup at brewing temperature. The premium format that made you feel like you'd upgraded from the flat paper bag is delivering more plastic into the drink, not less. The bag that looks like it belongs in a spa is a petrochemical product dissolving into your tea while you let it steep. The flavors that made Tazo feel distinctive, the bergamot in the Earl Grey, the tropical notes in the passion blend, the Zen calm implied by the mint and licorice in the Zen tea, are largely natural flavors. Natural flavors is the FDA's catch-all category, covering thousands of laboratory-derived compounds designed to perform the flavor work that actual botanicals would do if the sourcing supported it. The exotic character that made Tazo feel worth the premium price is a flavor chemistry system performing the impression of careful sourcing rather than careful sourcing itself. Starbucks paid $8.1 million for it in 1999. Unilever paid $384 million in 2017. The price went up 47 times in 18 years. The tea didn't change to justify it. The marketing did. Mo Siegel founded Celestial Seasonings in Boulder, Colorado in 1969, picking wild herbs in the Rocky Mountain foothills and selling them in hand-sewn muslin bags. The brand built its identity around the idea that herbal tea could be genuine wellness, not a pharmaceutical, not a marketing claim, but an honest, natural ingredient doing honest, natural work. The watercolor bears, the sleepy time imagery, the inspirational quotes on every box. All of it originated in a founder who genuinely believed what he was selling. In 2000, Hain Celestial Group acquired the brand for approximately $390 million and renamed itself after it. What Hain Celestial bought wasn't the herbs, it was the trust. The Sleepy Time Bear had built decades of consumer confidence that the word natural on a Celestial Seasonings box meant something specific. That trust became the asset. The sourcing became the cost center. But in 2013, an independent accredited laboratory called Eurofins tested 11 Celestial Seasonings tea varieties. 10 of the 11 contained pesticide residue levels that either exceeded federal tolerance limits or contained pesticides with no established safe limit under U.S. law. Not trace amounts the FDA hadn't gotten around to setting limits for yet. Compounds with no safe harbor, meaning no amount has been determined to be acceptable. The most alarming finding was in Sleepy Time Kids Goodnight Grape Herbal. The bedtime tea marketed specifically to children contained propichlor, a pesticide classified as a known carcinogen under California's Proposition 65. No safe harbor limit, no amount considered acceptable, in a product designed for children, with a sleeping bear on the box. Hain Celestial commissioned its own counter test from a different laboratory and said it showed no violations, then refused to release the results, calling them proprietary information. The company that markets its tea as 100% natural won't show you the lab report that's supposed to prove it. The bear is still on the box. The results are still proprietary. Choose wisely, my friends. Twinings has been selling tea since 1706, 320 years of English tea heritage sitting on a grocery store shelf at $6 a box, chosen by the person who wants to believe they're not buying commodity dust in a decorated tin. The Royal Warrant sounds like a quality certification. It isn't. It means Twinings supplies the royal household and the crown gave permission to display the royal arms on the packaging. That's it. A supplier designation, no testing requirement, no pesticide audit, no one in Buckingham Palace examined the Assam blend. Twinings delivers tea to the palace. The palace said they could put the coat of arms on the box. That's the entirety of what, by appointment to His Majesty the King, is telling you. The Greenpeace India investigation tested tea from major brands sold in the Indian market. Where most of the world's tea is grown and processed, Twinings was specifically named. The study found pesticide residues including DDT, a pesticide that India banned from agricultural use in 1989 and that the United States banned in 1972 after Rachel Carson's Silent Spring documented its ecological devastation. A pesticide that has been illegal in both countries for over 3 decades was found in samples from a brand advertising 3 centuries of English tea heritage and a royal warrant from the current monarch. 300 years of heritage and a pesticide banned during the Reagan administration. The pyramid bags in Twinings premium lines are nylon or PET, the same plastic material the McGill study measured. The person paying $6 for a Twinings box because it signals quality is paying for the heritage story, the royal warrant, and a nylon bag releasing 11 billion microplastics into a single cup of tea with DDT residue. The royal warrant certifies that the crown prefers this brand. It does not certify what's in it. Tea is a leaf, water, time. The leaf they're selling you is the dust that fell through every quality filter. The bag it comes in is dissolving chemicals into the drink. They couldn't even leave tea alone. Subscribe and check out the grocery store cheat sheet in the description. It's everything we expose on this channel in one printable guide. Now let's get into the real, authentic tea you should be drinking. Red Rose is the surprise on this list. It's one of the oldest brands in the American market, affordable enough that the assumption is it's cutting every corner the premium brands are cutting. When the CBC Marketplace investigation tested 10 major tea brands for pesticide residues, Red Rose was the only brand that came back completely clean. Not the lowest residue count, 0. Red Rose uses flat paper bags, not nylon pyramid mesh. No McGill microplastics concern. The tea inside is standard fannings, which means it's not a premium whole leaf product, but it's a product that has consistently tested clean on the single most important safety metric in the category. The one caveat worth naming, Red Rose is owned by Unilever, the same parent company as Lipton. The irony is real. The best testing mainstream tea in the CBC study and the worst sourcing mass market brand in this video share a corporate parent. That's not a reason to avoid Red Rose. The testing is the testing. It is a reason to understand that corporate ownership and product quality aren't always the same conversation. Clean paper bag, clean CBC test result, and is widely available for under $5. For the person who wants a mainstream option that has earned its place on the shelf, this is it. Traditional Medicinals was founded in 1974 in Sebastopol, California, by herbalists, not marketers, not food scientists, not a roll-up strategy. People who came from the herbal medicine tradition, where botanical quality is a clinical question rather than a branding decision, and where testing for pesticides and heavy metals is inherited from pharmaceutical practice rather than performed for marketing purposes. Every batch of traditional medicinals tea is tested for pesticides, heavy metals, and microbial contamination before it reaches a bag. Not because a regulator requires it, because the company's founding philosophy treats herbs as medicine, and medicine requires verified purity. The bags are unbleached abaca fiber, no plastic, no chlorine bleaching. The tea bag feels like paper because it is paper. At $6 to $8 per box, it's priced like a premium product. Unlike most premium products in this category, the price reflects what's actually in the box rather than what's on it. Ahmed Rahim and his sister Reem founded Numi in Oakland, California in 1999. The name came from their grandmother, a dried lime she called Numi that she used to brew tea with in Iraq. The brand was built on an explicit commitment to 2 things: real ingredients and transparent sourcing, not as marketing language, as operational decisions that show up in the bag material. Numi uses manila hemp and plant cellulose for their tea bags, Not nylon, not PET. No plastic dissolving at brewing temperature. The company publishes testing results and provides traceability to specific farms. Fair trade certifications that come with documentation rather than just a logo. Their jasmine teas are scented with real flowers through traditional aging methods rather than sprayed with laboratory compounds. That process takes longer and costs more and produces a tea that actually tastes like jasmine rather than a chemical approximation of jasmine. At 20 to 30 cents per bag, it's not the cheapest on the shelf, but it costs less per cup than the nylon pyramid at any coffee shop, and nothing in the bag is dissolving into the drink. John Harney started Harney and Sons in Salisbury, Connecticut in 1983 after learning the tea trade from an English tea master at a local inn. The company is now managed across 3 generations of the family. John's sons Mike and Paul run it today. They have over 300 varieties sourced from named single estates across Assam, Darjeeling, Ceylon, and Keeman. The product grade is whole leaf and broken leaf, not dust, which means you're buying something from the top 2 sieves of the factory grading process rather than the floor. The price is the counterintuitive part. A 1-pound bag of loose leaf Irish breakfast retails around $30. That sounds expensive until you do the math. It comes out to roughly 16 cents per cup of genuine whole leaf Assam from a named estate with documented provenance. The pyramid at a coffee shop, the nylon mesh, tea dust, corporate supply chain, costs more than that per cup. Harney and Sons is the cheaper option for better tea. That math is available to anyone who stops reading the front of the box and starts doing it. Where Harney uses them are biodegradable. The loose leaf option has no bag at all, which is the simplest answer to the McGill study anyone has offered. The best answer to everything in this video isn't a brand, it's a format. Every problem documented in the fake sections, the microplastics, the dust-grade tea floor sweepings, the pesticide residues, the misleading country of origin labeling, traces back to the same root cause. The bag is the delivery mechanism for industrial processing, plastic contamination, and graded down material. Remove the bag and you remove most of the problem. Loose leaf tea from a reputable importer. Harney and Sons, Upton Tea Imports, Adagio. Lets you see exactly what you're buying before you buy it. Whole leaves are visible, origin is labeled, harvest date is documented. You brew it in a simple metal strainer that costs $4 and lasts 20 years. No nylon dissolving into the water, no dust pretending to be a leaf, no bag with a royal warrant on it performing quality that the contents don't deliver. The person who has been buying a box of Twinings every week because they believed the heritage, the warrant, and the gold lettering on the blue box has been drinking factory floor dust in a plastic bag for $6. The same tea, whole leaf, named estate, documented origin, runs 16 to 20 cents a cup from a loose leaf importer in a metal strainer. That's not a lifestyle upgrade, that's arithmetic. Comment B2E if you made it to the end. Subscribe to support us and check out the grocery store cheat sheet. In the description, it's everything we expose on this channel in one printable guide. Thanks for watching.